Howdy y'all, welcome to Lax Lives. I think it's time we play a little Minecraft. Yeah, I totally had planned to have spent some time before starting this episode, and I think the first time I heard it was in a movie called Cuffs, maybe, and pretty sure that was the first time I heard it. But uh, life is what happens when you make a plan for yours. So this weekend, I'm recording this early, but this weekend is Christmas, and my family. Obviously, I talk about them a lot. Uh, they drive me bonkers. But as I've mentioned multiple times, I have been trying over the last couple of years, like 3 years probably now, to watch through the Vampire Diaries with my nieces. And it never seems to work out correctly. And so we had talked. Well, the last time they came over to do that, uh, one of the children, not the nieces, got in trouble, and somehow that meant that all of them were in trouble, and so our whole plan got destroyed, and so that was the end of that. Like we barely got into it. We had one night, I think it was supposed to be three, and that was the end of that. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, and then this would be the edge. And so that sucked, but whatever. It's just a television show. But it's like I take all this. It's not like I'm not busy. I am constantly busy. Okay, that's a lie. Today I was not busy. Today, for the first time in a long time, I sat around and did nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure I recorded an episode of Saturday stuff. Actually, this is the same day. So I recorded stuff 2 days ahead, thinking I would like to get this done so that I have tomorrow to work on the next day's stuff, because I'm sure Saturday, which is our family Christmas, I won't have time to work on things. And so I'm thinking, all right, look at that. I got an episode of Saturday done already. It's not even close to Saturday here, and that means it's tomorrow's Friday. I'll have the whole day. I only have two things I've got to do tomorrow. Two things, because I'm not at work right now, and you know, uh, it's Christmas vacation, and I only have two things to do tomorrow: record my episode of Minecraft and work on some thumbnails. And that's it. That's it. That's all I have to do tomorrow. As the only thing I scheduled for myself tomorrow. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What I'm doing, beside destroying my shovel, is marking off where the roads are going to be, which is what I was going to do ahead of time. I need to know where my road is going to be so I can figure out where to start this next building. Our next building is going to be uh, the I don't know what it's called. The Woolgen factory. Um, I looked it up, man. Not today, but I've looked at it before. They've got these machines that tear apart your the spinning factory. That's what it is. They got these machines that tear apart the raw wool, and so after it's been dyed and stuff, it goes into these big machines, and the big machines tear apart the wool and turn it into thread, and then the thread goes on to other machines. And so that's our next project is the factory that turns the wool um, into thread. Ooh, I'm going to take that one first. And so I've got to figure out where that building itself is going to start. And like I said, my plan was to get the roads all dug down, maybe not in place, but dug down so that I could tell where that building was going to go. But anyways, so we had some birthday parties in November, and at those birthday parties, I said, "Hey, you guys have got Christmas break coming up. We ought to try and get together uh, and get some more show watched." And they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we want to do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think that'll be fun." And so um, the original plan that we had made was that it was going to be Wednesday, Wednesday when they got off from school, and then today and tomorrow, and then they would go home after our family Christmas party because they come to our house for Christmas uh, as a family. There's only three of us children, so the three of us and their families and myself, because uh, and and so I mean, there's like 20 of us or so, and so we all get together for that, and so they'll go home, after that. That was the plan. That was the tentative plan. Yeah, we'll see how schedules work out, and then I haven't heard back from them since. Okay. So this road here, this whole thing is street with my current grid. This road will actually go this way. I should probably just go ahead and cut this out so I know that this is the edge of the street down through here. So there was no plan made. There was no plan made. There was a tentative, we'll check our schedules and get back to you, and that was it. And somehow, not consulting with me, that got turned into, oh, well, they're going to come over on Friday, and then they'll go home on Saturday. That's not even close to the plans that we discussed in November. I don't know where those plans came from. They did not involve me. Sheep, we are trying to survive here. I better go get some sleeping in here before I get myself killed by skeletons and whatnot. And so I get up today, and well, first off, no, let's finish this story and then we'll go into the other one. So I get up today and I am told the kids are supposed to come over tomorrow night. I was told, not this is my mother talking to me. The kids are supposed to come over tomorrow night, and they can't now, or they don't want to now. Like, I'm forcing them. They don't want to now because their other side of the family is going to be here with their kids. and they want to stay with their kids. I'm like, okay. I'm like, we didn't have any plans. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't heard from them since the birthday party in November. There is something else that was discussed with people traveling between houses that also didn't take place, which isn't directly part of this story, but another example of this mess of things was at the same time it was, or no, since that time it has been discussed that um, uh, the adult foster care guy would go spend the evening, or no, the whole week at my brother's house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just making sure this is right. And so he would be gone there because we got him a PlayStation 4 for Christmas. And obviously, with modern gaming, that means that every game that has been purchased for him will have to be updated with massive updates. And so the plan was that he would be gone this week so that we could set up his PlayStation and his new games to update. And then he would come with the rest of them on Saturday to Christmas. That is the last plan that I have discussed with my brother and his family involving Christmas. Not one mention of the kids coming over, and so I figured that would happen next week. Because, they also have next week off from school. I've got next week off from school anyways. But that's a different story. And so, so that's what was going to go down. And that didn't happen. That didn't even come close to happening. And I didn't say anything because, you know what? When he takes the adult foster care guy, he doesn't take his dog with him. And his dog is insane. And I can't stand that dog as it is. But when he's not here, she's an emotional wreck. Like a straight up shaking, peeing on the floor emotional wreck. Because he's not here. And so, and for some unknown reason, my brother refuses to take the dog. He has dogs. He has dogs that he had inside. He brings his outside dogs inside. There is no reason for him not to allow this dog in his house. He would bring his dog to our house every time he came over. I don't understand why he won't take a dog is never coming to my house. He felt that we being the people who live in this house, should not have a dog, and that once things occur where adult foster care guy goes to live with him instead of here, that thing being something happens to my mother, that he would pick out the dog. And since he didn't get to pick out the dog, he now doesn't want the dog anywhere near his house, basically, is what has happened. And yeah. So anyway, so we get the discussion of the kids coming over, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what they're talking about because we did not make those plans, and I don't care if they come over or not. It was, and she's like, well, I didn't know why they'd be coming over here anyways. I'm like, oh, we were going to do one of those things where they come over and watch the Vampire Diaries for a couple of days, but that wasn't going to be on Friday. That was going to be on Wednesday, so I don't know why Friday's the sudden buzzword involving this plan. And she's like, well, you need to hash that out with your brother. And so I sent them a message and let them know that it was fine if they wanted to stay there with their cousins. I didn't care. I'm like, we didn't really have that planned out anyways, so stay with your cousins. We'll try to do something next week, if you want. And so at 11:30 tonight, my brother calls, and the kids had gotten the message. They had discussed the message with their parents, and they didn't know what I was talking about because it's next weekend that their cousins are going to be, their other side of the family cousins are going to be here. And so they didn't know why that had anything to do with coming over for Vampire Diaries. And I still don't know where this whole "we're gonna come over this week" came from. But because that is happening, um, there is no time. Okay, this is a pickle. I need something I can mark this with, and all I have is dirt, and dirt ain't gonna cut it. And so, yeah. So now, instead of having my entire day to film one episode, and then being able to move on to some, I guess I could use some granite because I don't see anything else. I apparently have used all my cobble. Alright, let's take some granite. We'll take a couple of stacks of granite here. Oh, that's polished granite. Yeah, I don't want polished granite. And so yeah, so now they're going to be here tomorrow. Their mother will be here sometime in the morning, and we'll drop them off, and then they will stay here until Saturday. Okay, so what I got now is this is the edge of the road. So I like the whole grass thing along the edge. So let's come back maybe 3 blocks from there, and then 1, 2, 3. So there's a corner. Now I don't know how big this place is gonna be, but let's just. I guess this didn't have to be a completely straight line like this. But it's probably going to be pretty massive, right? And so let's at least get a little corner here so I know kind of what's going on. This will help me out. I mean, when I say kind of know what's going on, I mean I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh man, and my road was supposed to curve around this river here. Right, so this isn't going to work at all anyways because this has got to come over. So at best this is going to have to be something else. I guess I can't do this until I get this corner with the roads ironed out, because if this might be like a triangle park between where the road curves and where it goes straight, honestly, at this point. This doesn't work for me at all. I'm going to have to go get a bunch of step, because this road will have to curve around this river here. And it will be quite large. Actually, no, I don't know what I'm going to do here. This is not big enough to have a city. I guess it'll have to cross this river here somewhere as well. I didn't realize what had happened here. Maybe this river will have to go away. Or we can at least narrow it down, I think, and run the city out that way and over that way. I mean, let's be honest, my little collection of stuff over here wasn't supposed to be part of the whole thing anyways. So, I mean, it will run that way as well. But, yeah, interesting. So, yeah. So that's not helpful for my plans for tomorrow. So here we are filming this. But on top of that, I won't have time on Saturday to record anything. So that means that all my recording for Sunday needs to be done, I guess, tonight before I finish. Even though it is now 3 a.m. and I was going to go to bed. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's not like I have to do this. But I like doing this, and it's fun, and I like being able to play the game. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to wind up doing here. So my other story is... maybe not that amazing, and I've mentioned it in several things, but this week, and last week, and the week before that, I basically it goes like this. Uh, at my workplace, which I teach classes, and so at my workplace, you only get paid. Well, you only get a class if there are students to take a class. If there aren't students to take a class, there's no class. And so there are no classes this upcoming segment, which means I am basically out of a job. And this is the first time in 13 years there have not been classes for me. Now, there are classes, they're just being taught by someone else. Not because they didn't want me to do it anymore, but because I feel he's not aware of history of where I teach, and he is coming from the main site to run the classes because he feels it's an experimental method of doing the classes, even though I've done it several times before that way, when there weren't enough students technically to have a class. Sometimes they combine classes so that there are enough students to justify having a class. So he has left me with no classes for the first time in 13 years of doing this job, which means I have to find something else to do that pays me. And so this last couple of weeks here, well, no, it's been longer than that. I started looking in October, September, somewhere in there. No, it would have been in September. It would have been mid-October I started looking because I was afraid there wouldn't be any classes the way things are currently happening where I work. I don't want to get into that. And so I started looking, and I found another position that sounded ideal that would work with my current job in case that I did have a class. See, that's the thing. The job I have now is different every 12 weeks. Every 12 weeks the schedule changes. I might teach a class at 8 in the morning. I might teach a class at 6 at night. I might teach 2 classes on the same day. You never know. You don't know from 12-week segment to 12-week segment what you're going to be doing. And so I've been doing that for 13 years. This is actually a little over 13 years now. And in fact, this might be a little over 14 years. I'm really vague on the dates. I think this is the start of. I think I'm partway through 13, so a little over 13 years. And so, right, a little over 13 would technically be the fourth. No, this would be the 13th year I've done this. Yep. Anyways, so I need something that allows me to not have a schedule. So that I can work around the not having a regular schedule. And so I did find a position finally that works with my education and that does not have a schedule that I can do around the other job in case, there is an opening for me. I mean, technically I could, go get a position that just has a schedule and not do the other job. But, man, after 13 years, I kind of feel like, it's something I understand. It's what I have experience with. I'd like to keep the job I know rather than wind up with a job that I have to completely relearn. Although I would if I had to. I just don't want to. And on top of that, I kind of like my lifestyle the way it is, and I don't want to change it too much, because then it would be a new lifestyle, and I, like I said, like the one I got. And so I was looking into different positions, and so I found one And the problem is that it required, well, after making it through the first several segments. So first I applied for the job. They accepted my application part, and then they, interviewed me, and then I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork and submit that, and then they went over that paperwork and they accepted that. And so then the last hurdle is these exams on whether or not you can actually do the job you say you can do. Oh man, I've gone through another set of shovels. And so 2 weeks ago, I get access to the exams. Well, not the exams, but the pre-exams, which is basically a couple of little study materials to help you prep for what they're going to have you do for these exams. They're not like multiple choice exams. This is a case study of the job. Can you do this actual job? And so I started looking at that, and then the day comes, the next day, of when I'm supposed to start the actual exams, and the exams are like massive. Like they give you 7 days to complete 3 exams of a few questions, and so we're talking hours and hours of work to do these exams, let alone study for them. And but the day comes and their testing servers went down, and they only do testing. Testing is scheduled on a 7-day thing, and so they contact me and they're like, look, well, the testing servers are down, we're gonna have to delay you a week. And I'm like, all right. And so that just spreads it out for an extra week. And like I had access to the pre-testing stuff, but that's not the same thing as the like work guidelines and stuff like that. And so I'm like, oh man, this is nerve-wracking. And so we get to this last week here, and then I get access to the real study materials and stuff like that through our system. And so I started on that, and I get through the first examination, and then they contact me, and they're like, "Oh, you passed the first one." Like, whew, because the first one was, I felt good about it, but it was pretty massive. There was like 120, 130, 30 something questions, 132 questions, something like that you had to work your way through, and and so that was a pretty big test, and it took me several hours to do it. And then I get to the next one, and the next one is even harder than the first one. And so I finished that thing, and I don't want to say I felt sick to my stomach, but I definitely had some massive butterflies when I turned that one in. And because I mean, you just don't know. You don't know if you're doing it, doing the work the way they want the work done. So comes back and they're like, "Oh yeah, you did good. You definitely passed the second one." And because you can't access the next step until you complete the first step. You can't access the second step. You have to complete the second step before you can access the third step. So then I get to the third one, and this one was the most difficult of all 3. And so I go to town on that. And I don't finish it till like 3 in the morning on Tuesday. I started on Monday, but I finished it Tuesday morning at 3 a.m. And so I turned that one in. But then they don't tell you until Thursday, because they won't tell you whether or not you pass the exams until after the exams are due. So I got that turned in Tuesday at 3 a.m. So now I've got all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and then this morning before they finally tell me whether or not I have managed to secure the position, and I have, which is very, I wouldn't say exciting, but there's a huge weight off my shoulders now on, how soon I would have burned through my savings with no work. That's for sure. It would have gone away quickly. Um, and so I it's a second job. Uh, I mean, it's a second part-time job, but it's a second job still. And but now I won't. I definitely won't have any classes for the next 12 weeks. Well, it's a little longer than that because we take a month off for Christmas, and so 16 weeks. There's a 16-week gap in there with no paychecks for me, and that's a long time to go without being paid. So this will definitely help with that. And it was it was a little nerve-wracking. And I don't appreciate it. I'm mildly irritated at my employer over the class thing, but what are you gonna do? You suck it up and find another job. That's what I've done. So hopefully this works out for me. If not, I guess I'll have to go look into something else. That's for sure. But yes, that ate up like my entire freaking week. And so now, I made it to today, and I had worked ahead uh, doing this test stuff, and then on Tuesday, I had nothing to do because we're off at the moment from the other job. Well, like I said, I'm going to be off until, March or something at least. Maybe there won't be anything after March. I don't know why I can't find where the dirt goes. Um, who knows? We'll have to see. Maybe I'm done teaching classes at that place. I don't know. But, okay, so this is this road. And then what I gotta do is I gotta figure out where the curve goes in here. I guess in reality this could be a single lane road. And then I'd only bring it over the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then that would be the edge, and then this would come down here, kind of a one-way road, and curve along the waterfront here until it reached the 2-lane road, which is going to cross the river. Is that water down in there? Oh yeah, there's definitely some water flowing down in there. But yeah, so I don't know. Everybody's just sucking up my time again. Can't. Like, I prepped to make sure I had time to do those exams the previous week. I had everything done. I had 2 whole days with nothing to do but work on those exams. And it took me a little over 40 hours to finish all that exam stuff. Um, and I basically finished that in, I put in 40 hours on 5 days. So yeah, I basically spent a week's work working on those exams. Um, and but I had it all planned out for the previous weeks, and then this week I'm struggling to get, or scrambling. I guess scrambling, not struggling. I didn't struggle, but I did have to spend some late hours working on stuff. I don't like this pit being here, that's for sure. This is gonna get me killed right here. You know that, right? All right. Well, with that, now that we got this laid out, like I said, I'm gonna figure out if I want to do a 1-lane road, a 2-lane road, how it's gonna curve around here, how far over the roads have got to go. Like this whole area here might be a park, like this will be a 2-lane road here for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then I'll maybe run this over to where the bridge is going to be that crosses the river down there. And so then our wool gen factory will actually be down there, and this will be some kind of little park right here in the little triangle shape between the sections. So, all right, with that, click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.